Hört jemand laut Musik, ha? Ha? Nicht irgendwie hoch? Stiebeli backen? Backen die Duten? Glaube nicht. Oh, da gibt's Backup. Da kann ich drüben hinzunehmen. Die Tür.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Es muss nicht alles Bugs, also ich meine, es ist gut, dass hier keine Bugs sind eigentlich, weil wenn hier Bugs wären, dann müsste ich jetzt hier nochmal alles neu machen. Aber trotzdem, ich will Bugs finden. Richtiger Bug-Searcher. Bug. Oh. Oh. Okay. Wieder einsteigen. Okay, weiter geht's aber nicht. So, also wäre da jetzt noch irgendwas daneben gestanden, das wäre ganz lustig gewesen, eigentlich. Hier, ne? Kann nochmal ein wenig. Das sieht nicht nach Bug aus. Das hier. Oh. Ach Mensch. Hier fast alles JD sicher.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
What?
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once. So now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet. No, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time.
Okay.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations, not... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness.
What the fuck?
I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking, you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've... Oh, hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about every...
Der Arme. Wird gleich die Wand abgerissen?
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumb.
Okay. Da tropft es. Irgendwann muss doch jetzt mal was passieren, oder?
The end is never the end, 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 is never...
Okay. Oh. Hardcore Parkour. Das sieht sehr schön aus. Noch ein bisschen mehr und wir haben Open World Game, oder? Es ist fast Open World. Will ich mal behaupten. Nein, was soll denn das? Wird doch nur ein Open World Game. Okay. Open World Game. Der funktioniert glaube ich nicht mehr, oder? Und nix, okay. What the fuck? Ich will da hoch, ich kann da nicht hoch. Da kann mir doch keiner erzählen, dass das Stanley Parable ist, Alter. Aber wirklich nicht. Die Musik ist scheiße laut, Alter. Audio. Besser? Einstellung. So ungefähr wird schon passen. Ist ob legit der Raum das einzige ist, was hier übrig geblieben ist. Da drüben ist. Ist was und hier drüben ist was. Also da sind Berge und da sind Bäume. Oder nicht? Nein! Es war so schön.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Legit Hardcore
Stanley
Ende?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So, was wir den Input komplett vollständig haben. Bin schon immer da? New Content.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Bin ich. Egal, ich will New Content. New Power Ranger. Njam, njam. Bisschen mehr rüber, sonst ist die Hauptperson ja nicht zu sehen. Aha.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Ecke.
Yes, you
Keine Ecke.
see, isn't
keine
this
Ecke.
far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Okay, das ist leider das Maximum. Egal, ich kann mich wenigstens auf die Couch chillen hier, ja. Huch. Komm ich nicht auf, ne? Bin hier auch nichts sozusagen. Ey, ich hab doch gerade hier Ecke. Oh ne. Hier? Ey, die Stühle sind höher. Disgusting. 7.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Das sah jetzt hier halt schon echt gut aus, ne? Ist das in irgendein Lied, das ich nicht kenne, oder? Okay. Bin noch nicht so weit, ja. Ich sag dir, wenn ich bereit bin. Arschloch. Bin ja auch nichts hier, die Ecke. Wobei. Ist das hier oder war das? Die paar von KFC, alles klar. Also hier, das ist auch ein perfekter Raum. Passt perfekt für mich. Ich bin jetzt ein Möbelstück. You Hotness. Ah. 2. 1 plus 1 ist 2, minus 1 ist 1 plus 1 ist 2. Großes Telefon. New Mac. 1, 2, Win 2. Was? Egal. Hä? Hier, KFC, yay, da ist nichts mehr drin.
Now, to
Schaut
be
bitte der
clear,
rechte.
I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really. Schon ein klasse Unternehmen, wo jeder richtig viel, wie heißt es, die 2 richtig hart respektet. Und das hier. Was macht ein... Okay. Viel Spaß beim Rausfahren, I guess.